Across continents, in bustling cities and quiet homes, an ordinary day fractured into something entirely new. It began not with a bang, but with a sudden, silent shift. At precisely 2 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on October 27, an unprecedented event unfolded, capturing the attention of billions. Every screen, from the smallest smartphone to the largest public billboard, simultaneously displayed the same image, broadcasting the same sound. What followed was a global moment of confusion, fear, and profound realization. This is the story of the broadcast that appeared on every screen, everywhere, all at once. The initial reaction was widespread confusion. Many initially assumed a localized technical glitch or a widespread internet outage. But as reports flooded in from every corner of the globe, the true scale of the phenomenon became terrifyingly clear. It wasn't just televisions or computers, it was ATMs, smart refrigerators, even the digital displays on gas pumps. All were unified in presenting the same enigmatic content, replacing whatever was previously on screen, seemingly overriding all conventional systems. The most baffling aspect, according to cybersecurity analyst Dr. Lena Petrova, was its perfect synchronicity. There was no discernible latency, no regional delay. From Tokyo to Toronto, the shift was instantaneous. This alone ruled out any conventional terrestrial broadcasting method or even a distributed denial-of-service attack on internet infrastructure, she stated in her post-event analysis. This global synchronization pointed to a source and method far beyond anything known to human technology. The visual content of the broadcast itself was minimalist yet unsettling. It featured a slowly rotating geometric shape, complex and unfamiliar, against a deep indigo background. There was no text, no recognizable symbols, just this singular, rotating form. Accompanying it was a low, resonant hum, devoid of melody or discernible language, yet seemingly designed to capture attention. Eyewitnesses universally described a sense of deep unease, a primal recognition that something profound was unfolding. Sarah Chen, a commuter in Shanghai, recounted her experience. I was on the subway, scrolling through my news feed. Suddenly, everyone's phone, the digital ads in the carriage, even the station's giant screen, all went blank, then showed this strange blue shape, she explained. There was a sound, like a deep vibration, you could feel it more than hear it. People looked at each other, then back at their screens. No one spoke for a full minute, just utter disbelief. Her account echoes hundreds of others, highlighting the instant, pervasive nature of the event. In Times Square, New York City, David Miller was meeting friends when the anomaly struck. The giant billboards, usually a riot of color and movement, all changed. Every single one. It was this rotating blue thing. The noise, it wasn't loud, but it was asterisk there asterisk, like a pressure in your ears, Miller described. The sheer scale of it, seeing every screen around me switch at once, it felt apocalyptic, but also, strangely, profound. Like we were all part of something huge, something terrifyingly new. Halfway across the world, in Delhi, India, Anya Sharma was home watching a local news program. My television flickered, then the image appeared. My phone buzzed and showed the same. My laptop, which was charging, lit up with it too. It was on every device in my house. My first thought was a major cyberattack, but then my neighbor called, saying their screens were the same, Sharma recalled. This personal, pervasive experience underscored the invasion of privacy and sense of helplessness many felt. The initial global reaction was a mix of confusion and rising panic. Emergency services were inundated with calls. Social media platforms, briefly overloaded, then exploded with eyewitness accounts and desperate questions. Parents rushed to check on children, businesses halted, and public spaces became hubs of bewildered speculation. In many places, local authorities initially advised citizens to simply turn off their devices, a futile suggestion given the broadcast's pervasive nature and ability to override even powered-down screens. From a purely technical standpoint, the event defied every known principle of broadcasting and network security. Engineers worldwide confirmed that the signal did not originate from any known satellite, cellular tower, or internet server. It was as if the signal was conjured into existence within the devices themselves, remarked Dr. Kenji Tanaka, a leading expert in signal processing at MIT. There was no inbound transmission trace, no discernible IP address, no frequency band we could identify. It's an impossibility. The broadcast demonstrated an unprecedented ability to bypass all conventional cybersecurity protocols and display drivers. Firewalls were useless, encryption irrelevant. It manifested on screens regardless of operating system, network connection, or even whether the device was smart or dumb. Legacy cathode ray tube televisions, disconnected from any network, reportedly also displayed the image, albeit sometimes with greater distortion. This suggested a fundamental interaction with display technology itself, not just its data input. Initial analysis by government agencies and independent research labs revealed startling information about the signal itself. It didn't behave like an electromagnetic wave in the traditional sense. It didn't attenuate with distance, nor was it affected by atmospheric conditions or physical obstructions. We couldn't block it, couldn't jam it, couldn't even detect its propagation, stated a declassified Pentagon report. This led some to their eyes it wasn't a signal at all, but rather a direct manipulation of quantum fields or an entirely unknown form of energy. The exhaustive search for a terrestrial origin yielded nothing. Every high-power broadcast antenna, every military communications base, every hidden server farm was investigated. No corresponding transmission was found. We scoured every inch of the planet, every frequency spectrum, recounted former NSA Director John Albright in a rare public statement. If it came from Earth, it left no footprint. This suggested an origin that was either non-terrestrial or so advanced it could mask its presence with absolute perfection. Government responses varied initially, but most began with denial. The first statements from major world powers dismissed the event as a coordinated hoax or a localized technical malfunction, attempting to calm the public. However, as the global nature became undeniable, these narratives quickly crumbled. The rapid retraction of such statements only fueled public distrust, igniting a wave of suspicion about what authorities truly knew, or perhaps, what they were trying to conceal. Behind the scenes, intelligence agencies worldwide were thrown into overdrive. Classified operations were launched to identify the source, analyze the content, and assess potential threats. From the CIA to MI6, Mossad to Unit 8200, every cybersecurity and signals intelligence expert was tasked. The priority was not just understanding what happened, but who was behind it, and if this was a prelude to something more. The global intelligence community, often fractured, found itself united by a common, baffling adversary. Days after the incident, the U.S. president held an emergency White House briefing. With a somber tone, the president acknowledged the unprecedented nature of the event, calling it a challenge to global stability and our understanding of the digital age. While refraining from outright speculation about its origin, the president assured the nation that every resource will be deployed to uncover the truth. This official acknowledgement marked a turning point, validating public fears and transforming the event from a bizarre anomaly into a national security crisis. The United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session, highlighting the geopolitical ramifications. Nations expressed deep concern, fearing the broadcast could be a precursor to cyber warfare or a new form of psychological operation. Accusations, initially, flew between rival powers, each fearing the other had developed a secret weapon. But the universality of the event soon quelled these knee-jerk reactions, forcing a collective realization: if one nation had achieved this, they wouldn't have used it in such an ambiguous, non-damaging way. The media, initially struggling to contextualize the event, soon shifted into an intense investigative mode. News channels ran 24/7 coverage, dissecting every detail. Experts from various fields, physics, cybersecurity, linguistics, even philosophy, were interviewed, offering widely divergent theories. podcasts and independent journalists began their own deep dives, fueled by public demand for answers. The broadcast became the singular topic of global conversation, dominating headlines and shaping public discourse for weeks. Online, the theories proliferated at an exponential rate. From elaborate government conspiracies to ancient prophecies, everything was fair game. Hashtags like #globalglitch, #thehum, and #screen takeover trended for days. Forums dedicated to fringe science and UFO phenomena saw an unprecedented surge in activity. While much of it was speculation, the collective digital consciousness served as an invaluable, if chaotic, archive of immediate human reaction and diverse interpretations. One of the earliest and most persistent theories posited an incredibly advanced cyberattack. Proponents suggested a rogue state or sophisticated hacking group had achieved a breakthrough in network penetration, gaining access to display systems globally. It's a digital ghost, a zero-day exploit so profound it redefines what's possible, argued tech blogger Alex Vance. The scale, however, stretched credulity. A single entity orchestrating such a flawless, simultaneous takeover across disparate systems seemed beyond current human capabilities, even for nation-states. Experts quickly pointed out the unprecedented nature of the attack, if it was one. No nation has the capacity to simultaneously breach every known digital defense, not to mention analog systems, across every platform, globally, asserted Dr. Evelyn Reed, a cyber warfare specialist at Stanford. The logistical nightmare of deploying such a payload, let alone achieving perfect, instantaneous synchronization without a trace, rendered that superhack theory highly improbable for any terrestrial actor. Another theory, popular among government skeptics, suggested a covert, high-level government experiment gone wrong. Perhaps a top-secret project designed for global communication, psychological warfare, or advanced signal jamming inadvertently went rogue. They were trying to build a global broadcasting system, and it got out of control, speculated former intelligence operative Marcus Thorne. This theory appealed to those who distrusted official narratives, believing a hidden power was testing boundaries. However, the covert experiments and theory struggled with the obvious lack of control demonstrated by the broadcast. If it was an experiment, its creators quickly lost command. No soft switch was ever found. No official communication followed. A controlled experiment maintains at least some degree of operational oversight, noted Dr. Alastair Finch, a physicist specializing in clandestine technologies. The inability to terminate or even alter the broadcast suggests either absolute incompetence, or it was never a human experiment to begin with. Dr. Aries Thorne, a theoretical physicist at CERN, offered a more esoteric perspective. He proposed the signal might be a transient phenomenon, an echo from a higher dimension, or a localized warp in space-time. We're looking for a radio wave, but what if it's something entirely different, something that interacts with matter at a more fundamental level than we currently understand, he posited in a widely circulated lecture. This stretched the boundaries of conventional science but offered an explanation for the impossible nature of the event. Despite the lack of a detectable point of origin, intense efforts were made to trace the signal. Global observatories turned their dishes skyward, military radar systems scanned for anomalies, and deep-sea acoustic arrays listened for unusual vibrations. Every sensor grid, terrestrial and orbital, was repurposed for the search. Teams of specialists attempted to reverse-engineer the broadcast's effects on individual devices, hoping to find a backdoor or a digital signature embedded within the display's memory. All avenues led to dead ends. The most extensive investigation involved the global network of surveillance satellites. Every piece of data captured during the event window was reviewed. High-resolution imagery, infrared scans, atmospheric particle analysis, nothing definitively pointed to a source. There was no energy burst, no orbital trajectory, no physical object, reported a spokesperson for the European Space Agency. The lack of any external perturbation meant that either the source was utterly undetectable by our current instruments, or it operated in a manner completely divorced from physical emission. Following the terrestrial and near-Earth orbital failures, the search expanded into deep space. Radio telescopes like Arecibo and the VLA were repurposed to scan for any anomalies. SETI programs, usually listening for faint, distant signals, focused intently on the October 27 timeframe for any correlating cosmic events. While various natural astrophysical phenomena were detected, none aligned with the broadcast's characteristics or timing. The silence from the cosmos regarding the event was, in itself, a profound answer. A highly controversial psychological theory suggested the broadcast might have been a mass hallucination, a collective delusion triggered by a global psychological stressor. Dr. Evelyn Hart, a cognitive neuroscientist, proposed that a convergence of heightened anxiety, information overload, and viral suggestion could, theoretically, manifest as a shared sensory experience. However, this theory struggled to explain the objective, recordable nature of the broadcast, which was captured by cameras and could be replayed, albeit with difficulty, on some devices. The crucial counterpoint to the mass hallucination theory lay in the numerous objective recordings. Millions of people captured the broadcast on their cameras and phones. While some recordings showed static or flickers, many clearly displayed the geometric shape and registered the low hum. A hallucination cannot be recorded by an independent device and replayed, asserted forensic video analyst Mark Jenkins. The broadcast was undeniably real, an external stimulus, not an internal perception. This solidified its status as a tangible, physical event. The low, resonant hum that accompanied the visual broadcast proved as enigmatic as the image itself. Audio engineers struggled to categorize it. It contained no discernible rhythm, no pattern that corresponded to human language, music, or even natural phenomena. Its frequency range was unusually broad, suggesting a composite sound, yet its perceived simplicity defied complex analysis. Some described it as deeply relaxing, others as intensely unnerving, pointing to a potential psychoacoustic effect. Global linguistic teams, including cryptographers and semioticians, attempted to find meaning in the broadcast. The geometric shape was scrutinized for hidden patterns, mathematical constants, or visual language. The hum was subjected to every known linguistic algorithm, seeking phonetic structures or symbolic representations. All efforts failed. There was no syntax, no grammar, no recognizable communicative intent by human standards, explained Dr. Eleanor Vance, a leading semiotics expert. It was either beyond our comprehension, or it wasn't a message for us at all. For many, the only logical explanation remaining was extraterrestrial contact. The impossible technology, the global reach, the non-terrestrial signal properties, and the ambiguous content all pointed to a civilization far surpassing our own. If we rule out all human means, what's left? Pondered astrophysicist Dr. Marcus Thorne. It matches the criteria for a first contact scenario more closely than any other explanation. A silent message, designed to simply announce presence, rather than impart information we couldn't possibly grasp. While the scientific community, particularly SETI, search for extraterrestrial intelligence, researchers acknowledged the compelling circumstantial evidence, they remained cautious. It's the strongest candidate for a non-terrestrial event we've ever witnessed, stated Dr. Jill Tarter, co-founder of SETI. However, without a repeatable signal or a confirmed point of origin, we cannot definitively label it as extraterrestrial. It remains in the realm of the truly unknown. The cautious optimism, mixed with scientific rigor, defined their official position. The broadcast lasted for precisely 38 minutes and 17 seconds, then vanished as abruptly as it appeared. Screens reverted to their previous displays, leaving behind a world irrevocably altered. The enduring question became not just what was it, but what now? The event shattered preconceptions about technology, security, and our place in the cosmos. It left humanity with a profound sense of vulnerability, yet also a shared experience unlike any other in history. In the months that followed, the societal impact was profound. Trust in technology wavered. Governments faced increased pressure for transparency. New philosophical and spiritual movements emerged, grappling with the implications of the unknown. education systems began incorporating curricula on crisis preparedness for global anomalies. The broadcast became a cultural touchstone, a shared memory etched into the collective consciousness, forever reminding us of the limits of our knowledge. Years later, the search for answers continues. Dedicated international task forces, funded by multiple governments and private donors, still scour data, conduct experiments, and monitor for any recurrence. Every new scientific discovery, from quantum computing breakthroughs to astrophysics observations, is viewed through the lens of the broadcast, hoping it might offer a clue. The resolve to understand remains unshaken, driven by the knowledge that humanity may have experienced a glimpse of something truly monumental. What if the origin was never meant to be seen or understood in our current frame of reference? Perhaps it wasn't a message to be decoded, but an event to be experienced. Dr. Anya Sharma, the Delhi eyewitness, later reflected, maybe it wasn't about communication, but simply existence. A silent announcement from something beyond our comprehension, a reminder that we are not alone, nor are we truly in control. This perspective suggests a fundamental shift in humanity's self-perception. The event ushered in a new paradigm, challenging humanity to expand its understanding of reality. It forced a re-evaluation of scientific limits, technological capabilities, and even the nature of consciousness itself. The ambiguity of its origin remains its most profound characteristic. Without a definitive answer, the broadcast continues to haunt, inspire, and provoke, a constant reminder of the vast, unexplored territories of existence that lie just beyond our perception, waiting to make their presence known. The global broadcast of October 27 stands as one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in human history. A moment when the world paused, witnessed the impossible, and was left with only questions. Was it a hack of unimaginable sophistication, a rogue experiment, a collective delusion, or indeed, humanity's first direct contact with an intelligence from beyond? The screens are back to normal, the hum is gone, but the echo of that broadcast, and the great silence that followed, continues to resonate, waiting for an answer that may never come.